Hey, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, streaming idiot for today. I am so excited about today's show. We've got all sorts of cool stuff. Packages that just showed up 10 minutes ago that we're going to talk about. We've got a new surprise from Magewell. We've got a new project that we're going to work on here in the studio. We've got don't want you to forget about our deal on vMix HD, which runs out in a couple of days. So we've got lots to attend to. But first, welcome. For those of you that are here watching live on Wednesday afternoons, we're delighted to have you. For folks that are watching us on YouTube, thank you for watching on YouTube. Why don't you go ahead and subscribe, and that way you'll get a note in your email box or on your YouTube account that there's a new video from us. And even better than that, why don't you come join us on a Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon's 3 o'clock Eastern, which is generally, depending on the time of year, 8 o'clock in London and 5 a.m. Thursday morning on the east coast of Australia. So wherever you are, come join us. It will be a ton of fun, I'm sure. Now, coming up, let's see, let me get the right shot here so that we can do this right. Coming up in 5 days will be the end of our vMix deal. We have got a deal on vMix, and it will allow you to have a 10% discount on the vMix HD version if you use this code. vMix HD 10 will get you 10% off on vMix through November 30th, and that would be at easternshorebroadcasting.com, and after the 10% on vMix expires on November 30th, we've got some other cool stuff that we're gonna give you a deal on. So if the vMix is not what you want, stick around, because something will tempt your fancy, I'm sure. Anyway, that's the whole plan. So vMix HD 10 will get you 10% off on vMix in the store. Now, full disclosure, I am an authorized reseller for vMix and VidBlaster and Magewell and PTZ Optics and Camtasia and Tally Lights and lots of other cool stuff that are products that we have either tested and or use actively here in this show and the other shows that we do. So this is not just something we're trying to peddle for a buck. This is stuff that we know is the right tool for the job. And there's nothing like having the right tool for the job. This show is built on the premise that one guy with one PC, parentheses, properly equipped, can do one awesome broadcast. It really can be done. Don't need a room full of computers. You don't need a $40,000 TriCaster. You can do it with a PC, a great camera, even a good camera. Here's today's setup. Today's setup is based on a PC, a custom PC that I built probably about a year ago, basically of parts off the shelf and discards here with a couple of things that I actually had to buy. But it's centered on an i7, second generation i7 from Intel, the 2600K. I think it's a 3.2 or 3.4 gigahertz processor. We've kind of juiced it up a little bit to about 4.2. It's doing 4.15 right now. And so, it's cruising along pretty good. I think we've got 16 gigs of RAM in the system. Today we have the Blackmagic Intensity Pro card, the old version, not the 4K version, that's doing our Canon. Get this, it's a Canon HF R100. It's the very first Vixia to come out from Canon like 900 years ago. And it does, it does a pretty good picture. Now, is it the greatest thing in the world? No, it's not the greatest. But for the price that you can buy it at, for $100 or less off of eBay, it's a decent little camera. I've got two of them in the studio, and I've got an R200 also in the studio, and then I've got a couple of Logitechs, the C920s, and then a Logitech C310, and then a PTZ optics cam. That's my overhead cam. Let me see if I can get that queued up with the right shot here. And I think it was shot number 5, wasn't it? Preset number 5. Somehow that doesn't look right. Let's try 7. There we go, 7. And this is the what we'll call the overhead cam today. So that's it right there. And we're controlling it with the handy dandy controller, kind of like I don't know, what would you call it, a TV controller? And now you can see what a mess the studio is in, but that's sitting on a bookshelf across the way and provides a good opportunity for different shots. We can use the Logitech C920. I've got one set up as an overhead shot, one set up as an over-the-shoulder shot, and then I've got a Logitech C310 set up here on the desktop when I display things on the desktop. So there are lots of cameras that we're using here in the studio. The Canon Vixia HFR100 is sitting on a telescoping stand that sits across the table from me, and we're really pleased with the way that was a project that we kind of introduced last week, and it allows, let's see if we cut to this shot, you can see a little bit of the camera there peeking over one of the insulation boards that helps cut down on some of the sound reverberation here in the studio. So that's kind of the general setup today. Oh, we added one thing that's a little different than normal. I've got a Magewell Pro Capture. That's the 2nd generation Magewell. Magewell Pro Capture dual SDI card that I've got in my production PC, and that's what's running. This cam right here. This cam is coming in SDI. Now this particular camera will either do SDI or HDMI, or will do streaming over Ethernet. So currently we're using it as an SDI version. So it's pretty cool, pretty versatile little camera. So one guy with one PC properly equipped. Can I show the camera again? Which camera would you like to see? We're talking about the Canon Vixia. That's the Canon Vixia, and you know, for comparison purposes, let's see. You can see it's not a very large camera. It's about as big as my hand, so it's not very large. And I don't have a camera that shows the. I can show you this one, but that's not going to help very much. But there, way up top, just below the light to the left, is the PTZ cam. And see if we can't make it move so you can see which one it is. Yeah, there it is. You can see it moving around a little bit. That's the PTZ cam. And this is the shot that it makes. And I just fired it up this morning. I don't know that I even did the color on it. So that's a long way. Boy, this is a long introduction. But that's kind of what we're working with today. Now, yeah, some of this stuff is expensive, and we've sort of traded up here and there. I mean, the Canon Vixia's, the one that I'm using right now was a family handy cam, and went on the shelf, went up in the closet, and I said, you know, I bet you can stream with that thing. And we streamed standard definition with it using a good old Easy Cap, and then just about, I guess it's almost been 2 years that we went high definition, and we're using the HDMI output on it. It's also got a component output, so you've got 2 different HD options. So that's, you know, and I keep meaning to do a studio tour. Maybe that'll be a Christmas project. It's always tough to do a studio tour during the broadcast. It probably would be easier to take a bunch of still photos and show them and try to explain what they are and what they do. Where should we go first? Oh, golly. Let's just go for the good stuff. I got in the mail today. I mean, I literally opened the box, and this is not one of those kind of I won't say demeaning things about it, but this is not an unboxing. This is going to be a displaying. But this is, let's see if we can't make this. I'm going to show you this shot right here, and then I'm going to modify the shot a little bit in vMix and see if we can't get it to zoom in a little bit. And then we'll position it right about there. Maybe zoom in just a tad more. There we go. Okay, that'll be a good shot. And so we can take out. This is, oh, this is so cool. Let me show you a picture of it so it'll make more sense when you actually see it. This is a PCIe extension that will plug into a laptop. You see the little ExpressCard connector there. That's which version this one is. And it has a big thick black cable, and I'll show you mine now that you can see what that one is. And mine, which I've just literally gotten in the mail, has got this PCIe connector here, and then a lot of different power connectors here, and then has a cord which has the ExpressCard mounted permanently on the other end of it. And I can't wait to try this in a laptop and see if the whole purpose of this is to see, it's an experiment, and you get to be in on it. It's an experiment to see if this will work with one of the Magewell capture cards. So you can, if it does, then we build a little box around this thing. Or they actually make one. Here's a picture of one. Here's one that's in a box. The same setup that I've got, except they've just built a little box around it. And so the concept would be that you could have a laptop. It wouldn't even have, and this is not PCIe. This is ExpressCard. So this is going to be slightly different. This actually is an ExpressCard, I think they call it a 34. They also make a wider version, the 54, and this will fit in the 54 also. What else is in the box? There's some cables that would plug in. The reason this was developed, it was developed supposedly, quote unquote, as a test bed, but what the gamers did is they got their gaming laptop and they plugged this into the gaming laptop, and then they could put a video card here and connect their monitor to it and have high definition video and fast frame rates and all the benefits of a really cool graphics card. So this cable right here would be to power the graphics card. So we're probably not going to use that. And then we've got a bag of standoffs here that will allow us to build a kind of a framework that will hold the card. So we'll get into that too. What else is in this box? Anything? I think that's it. Doesn't even come with directions. No directions, no drivers. It is definitely a piece of test equipment in that sense. But gamers have been using this kind of stuff for years, and it just dawned on me the other day, why not take something like this, plug it into a laptop that has an ExpressCard slot, and not all of them do, and see what we can't get. So I've got one laptop in the house that's got an ExpressCard, and my son just got home for Thanksgiving, so he may have one. He may have ExpressCard on his laptop. If he does, Dad's going to take it over for a few days and play with it, because this is going to be just a lot of fun, and I can't wait to give it a try. Let's see. What do we want to do next? I was going to try to get a little overhead shot. Where is that shot? Overhead. There we go. And we'll do a position on the floor. And then we'll zoom it out a little bit. Sorry about this. In fact, why don't I show you what I'm doing? So you're not just sitting there wondering, what is he doing? What is he doing again? I wanted to put the a little kind of picture-in-picture there so that you could see this as we talked about it. And here we go. We're just going to kind of crop it down a little bit. There we go. All right, that's better. That's better. So we've got the PCIe card, excuse me, the ExpressCard, and then the PCIe slot, and it's a full 16-link slot. The tricky part's going to be getting power into it. But yeah, and here in the chat room, Rudy says he's got a MacBook Pro 17 built in 2009 that has an ExpressCard slot. Hey, hey, there you go. And that may be just the thing for getting one or more high-definition cameras in. And if Rudy, does your Mac have Thunderbolt? I mean, if it's got Thunderbolt, then you can use something like, you know, our good old Thunderbolt box here that we are about ready to bring to market, that will allow Thunderbolt in and then 4 ports of either SDI or HDMI capture. This, we probably will not bring this to market in any shape or form, but rather just sort of share it as a concept. And if it works, then obviously it'll be a concept worth sharing. So stay tuned on this one. This is from, who is this from? This is from B Plus Tech. B, the letter B, the word plus, and then tech, B Plus Tech. And they're available from mfactors, mfactors.com. B Plus Tech is the name of the manufacturer. And the card is a model number PE4C version 3.0. PE4C version 3.0. Now the one with the enclosure on it that I showed you just a minute ago, this one is the version 3.2. So if you're looking for something that's already a good-to-go product, there it is. But this is the kit that I bought today, or that was delivered today, with the ExpressCard. Now you see there's also a Mini-PCIe version, and so it will be interesting to see if there's a way to modify that to have it slip into a Mini-PCIe slot inside of a laptop. So that would be good. And then you see at the bottom, of course, it'll do a PCIe card, which, you know, why there's no need to do that in my mind. Anyway, so all of that aside, that's the latest greatest. Can't wait to play with it. And I've got what kind of cards do I have I can test in it? I've got, Magewell has loaned me a couple of cards for testing. One is the Pro Capture Quad HDMI, and that's what we've got that we're testing in our Thunderbolt box, the Bolt 4. And I've also got the Magewell Pro Capture Dual SDI, which is what we're running our Skycam with today. So we'll be testing both of those in the PCIe extender, and then I've got a Blackmagic card that we can test in there and a StarTech card that we can test in there that both do video capture. So we'll have a pretty good idea what cards will work. And from what I understand, that this operates in a similar fashion to the Bolt 4 Thunderbolt box. That is, if the drivers have been installed in the PC that will make the card active, then when you plug it in with our Bolt 4 Thunderbolt or with this new PCIe extender, it'll recognize those drivers because it just sees the either the Thunderbolt or the ExpressCard as just a PCIe extension. So it doesn't need a driver for that. That's the theory. We know it works with the Bolt 4 because we've tested that a lot. But with this new one, just came in the mail. Can't wait to try it. So we'll let you know. that might be a good kind of Thanksgiving downtime project to see. And we'll post some updates on our Facebook page under Eastern Shore Broadcasting. If you haven't liked the page, go ahead, and then you'll get a little notice whenever we post something there. We're not prolific, but we try to post a couple times a week. Let's see. Let's sidetrack for just a second, and I want to do a kind of a little tutorial, because this is something, and you know, some of this stuff is like, of course it's there, Tom, why don't you just do it all the time? But I discovered it's like it's a brand new thing. But it's been there all along. So I thought I would share it with you. This is in vMix. And vMix, let me show you my desktop in vMix. And of course it's just, you know, over here it's going off to infinity, but below here you can see the different modules called inputs that I'm working with on the red level. There's the green level, there's the yellow level, the magenta level, the light blue level, and the dark blue level. This is kind of my pre-show level, the dark blue level. And what I wanted to do was, let's find a level that doesn't have a lot on it. Oh, let's use this level. This will be a good level. And I am going to take Windows. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. Okay, this is Windows File Explorer. And it is open to, let's see if we can put it over there so you can see better. There we go. It is open to a subdirectory where I've got some photographs. And this is not part of vMix. This is just Windows File Explorer. And I can take a file here. Let's just pick this one. And I can drag it right down here, and it appears, that picture. I'll do it again with the next one. Take that one, drag it down there. I can select several and drag them at the same time. Let's see, let's select that one, and then we'll select that one, and we can drag those down there, and they'll appear as well. So that's a real quick way to bring, and it'll work for photographs, it'll work for PNG files, it'll work for video files, it'll work for audio files, and it may work for other stuff that I don't know about, but that's what I was using it for today. So it was pretty cool to be able to do that. So it just Windows Explorer, whatever level I'm on right now I'm on the green level, and it just drags them onto the green level. It's really pretty cool. The question in the chat is, are levels the same as layers? They are similar to the layer function in Wirecast, in that you would have multiple layers, but the levels don't necessarily build on top of each other in terms of any kind of building of different graphic elements or photos with overlays or anything like that. That's handled differently. These are just, think of them, if you will, as file drawers. So we've got 2, 4, 6 file drawers, and then our top file drawer has everything in it. And so we can see everything at one time by hitting the gray one, or we'll go here to the red one. This is my active desktop for this show. I can also, while we're here, I can also put my cursor, yeah, you can't see my cursor, but I'm bringing my cursor into the middle and grabbing the line there, and you can see that line kind of changed. And now you can see all of, we'll go back to the gray level, you can see that I've got a ton of different inputs working down there. And actually we can scroll down and see that there's a couple of more levels of inputs down there. That's a lot. How many? 44 today. But we don't really need all that many at that time, so we'll go ahead and put ourselves back where we were. And there we go. So that's just a little quick and dirty tutorial on how to drag and drop from Windows into, as inputs, into vMix. And that's pretty exciting stuff. So moving right along. Oh, I did, before I forget, this is a close-up of the Bolt 4. And it's 4 4 ports of HDMI video capture that go through Thunderbolt to whatever Thunderbolt enabled device you have, Thunderbolt 1, 2, or the new 3 coming out, and it works beautifully, So we'll be bringing that to market shortly. Let's take a look at vMix has a new, not vMix, excuse me, Magewell has a new line of capture cards. They're called the Minis. Whoops, sorry, wrong Mini. I've been waiting to do that all day. I couldn't help it. This is the Mini Pro Capture HDMI card. Actually, it's called Pro Capture Mini HDMI card. And you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, that would be where it would connect to a PC, to the Mini-PCIe slot if you had one on your motherboard. And in the top left-hand corner, that 20-pin connector connects to a proprietary cable that looks something like this that would give you the HDMI connection. Not quite sure exactly what's the best method to get a card like this, whether it's a full-size PC or kind of a mini PC. Don't think that it'll fit in a laptop, although you can see the heat sink there on one of the chips. It has a pretty high profile. You might be able to trim that profile down and get it to fit into a laptop, but don't think that's the way it's designed. Here's another angle shot of it. It will do PCIe 2.0. Here's kind of a little, let's see if we can clean that up a little bit. We've got just a little diagram from, well, let's just shoot it in there and show it to you. This is what Magewell says, you know, it plugs into the PCIe bus on the right, and you plug a cable into it on the left. It might be a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the general idea. Now, this comes in an SDI version, and it comes in an HDMI version. It's one port only. The HDMI does carry the embedded audio, and the SDI does have the loopback feature, which means you can monitor whatever is coming in on into the card. You can put that on a monitor if you want to, an SDI monitor, and it comes with an adapter cable that allows you to connect it in similar fashion to the HDMI. So that's pretty cool. That's new from Magewell, $299 for the HDMI version or the SDI version. Obviously, it has a very narrow niche, but it will be available in our store shortly. And I'd like to figure out a way to test one. I guess I'll have to find something that's got a mini PCIe slot. I mean, I guess you can put it in a regular PCIe slot and test it from there, but I want to think of a way that it really becomes kind of purposeful in that sense. Oh golly, where is the time going? We're just about out of time. Before we move on, I do want to send out thanks to Torrance and Scott and Tim and Bob and RJ and Brandon and Tom and Justin, all of the folks that have helped support this broadcast by purchasing things through our store. So I really appreciate that. Capture cards, software, custom PCs, thank you very much. And that means it means we can do another show. I've got a question from you guys, and if you're watching us on YouTube, if you know the answer and you can leave it in the comments below, I would really appreciate it. If you're watching us live and know and can share with us now, that would be appreciated too. But I have a client who needs to be able to input their microphones directly into the PC. So instead of going through a traditional mixer, they want to plug the mics straight into the PC. Now we can probably, modify the mic cable with some adapters so that it'll meet up with whatever's available, whether it's XLR or 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch or whatever connections might be available. Stereo, RCA, whatever. But we need to be able to have the audio coming in as separate audio devices in Windows. So we're looking for a audio capture card of some type that will do that. So if you've got an idea of something that might work like that, I would love to know, because I am at a bit of an impasse right now. It's one of those situations where you can read specifications, and the specifications kind of sound like it might do it, but I really just need to pick up the phone and call somebody and ask them. And that leads me to my last comment. As a great case in point, I had somebody call me the other day, and they were spitting mad. Not at me, but they were just mad, because they had gone to a website and taken specs for something and had a custom PC built according to those specs, including capture cards and the whole 9 yards, bought software according to the specs, and it didn't work. They never talked to anybody. Well, they started talking to people when it didn't work, but they never consulted with somebody up front to say, is this the best way for us to do it? Is there a better way? Is there a way that would be more cost effective, or would be more future proof, or would work into a certain space, or would fit the needs of what we want to do with it? They never talked to anybody, and so they didn't get the desired result. And they were mad. They were mad at everybody in the process. And I just replied and said, hey, maybe I can help get you back on track. And I think at that point they were out for blood. Fortunately for me, it wasn't my blood, but unfortunately for them, they didn't come to me first and say, hey, Tom, help us figure out what's the best way to do this. I'm working with about 5 different clients right now, trying to help them dial in on the right set of specs for their particular circumstance, whether it's a church environment or a major hall environment, or a teaching environment, or a hospital environment, or a sports environment. There are lots of different ways to configure these PC designs and capture designs and software designs so that they work really, really well, and they work the first time. So that's all I have to say on that subject. Oh, well, yeah, the bottom line is call me. Call me. Shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com. Go to the website, easternshorebroadcasting.com. My phone number is on there. You can actually call a live person. Yeah, and have somebody that can answer questions. And, I don't know everything. Martin will be the first one to tell you that. But I can find out what I don't know, and I can guarantee you I know a ton. So somebody's asking, is a USB audio interface an option? Only if it splits up the audio from the various microphones as different Windows audio devices. We need to be able to manipulate it at the Windows audio device level. Thank you, Rudy. That's a great question. Folks, we're out of time. Thank you so much for tuning in live. Anderson's got refreshments for us, some sort of new shrimp concoction he's been working on. So you'll want to hang around for that if you're here with us live. If you're watching on YouTube, you need to watch live so you can come to the after party. That's where the fun happens. But don't forget to subscribe too. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Next week at the same time. And we've got a little bit of a surprise that we want to talk about then. So that's going to be fun. Anyway, I'm Tom Sinclair. Take care.